I'm going to talk with you for a minute about a few things, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jamie and let him talk with you for a few seconds or a few minutes about some topics that he has. But one thing I want to kind of start this off at is I had something earlier this year that happened to me, and it kind of changed the way I looked at agents, the way I did everything in my life. I was sitting at the house one day. It was earlier this summer, and typical Sunday afternoon at my house. Got 3 boys, 14, 10, and 4. They were running through the house, over the house, under the house, fighting with one another, just carrying on like they always do. And I was trying to enjoy my afternoon, watching something on TV, and my wife walked in, and bless her soul, we've been married for 16 years. She walked in, she says, I need to ask you something. I said, oh my goodness, what is it? I was scared to death to hear what she had to say. Well, she said something that would change my life forever. I promise you. She says, I want to learn how to play golf. I said, well, this is, I thought it was a nice way of saying, I want a divorce. I thought, there's no way this is going to work out. There's no way. I don't have the patience. I'm not going to be able to do this. So I said, okay, do you want me to show you how to play golf, or do you want me to teach you how to play golf? She said, I want to learn how to play golf. I said, okay. So we go outside and we grab a golf bag and set it down. The first thing she does, she grabs the driver. I'm like, put that thing back up. Well, wow, I want to learn how to play golf. I said, I'm going to teach you how to play golf, but listen to me. You don't ever want to touch that until you get ready. And so we went out there, no lie, and there's a little, behind our house, we live at the golf course, and there's a tee box. And there's a little blue tee marker there for the blue tee box. And I put down 3 or 4 balls, and I said, take the sand wedge and you try to hit that little blue box. She said, well, it's only 5 feet. I said, I don't care, try to hit it. And so we spent a few minutes doing that, and we gradually got a little further. And I said, now, I'm fixing to go to work tomorrow, but I want you to pick up the sand wedge and the pitching wedge. I don't want you to touch any other club. So we kind of progressed through there, and it kind of made me think a little bit about how we do our agents. You know, we recruit an agent, and the agent comes on board with us, and the first thing they want to do, they want to go out and write $10,000 like a Steve Thornton. You know, they don't want to know about the details of how does he do that. They just see the numbers, and the only thing they want, give me the contract, give me the leads, I can go do that. And I felt like I had failed my agents sometimes for not teaching them how to become a better agent and showing them the ins and the outs of the day-to-day activity. But that one statement from my wife, it changed the way I thought about the agents, because she said, I want to learn, don't show me. It would have been very easy for me to go outside, throw down a golf ball, hit 3 or 4 and says, here you go, I showed you how to play golf. That's the way that I was training my agents, okay? And I would just simply, and we're all guilty of it, we would all get an agent, put them in the car, we'd ride them around for a little while, we showed them what we did, but we didn't teach them how do we do that. And that all starts, you know, from the very beginning. And, you know, I think that starts from being organized. That's number one, is being organized. That's the most important thing, is have your stuff together. Know what you're going to do, know where you're going, and know what you're going to do when you get there. Very, very, very important. So many times I'll have an agent, I'm sure each and every one of you have had this as well, an agent will call you on Monday morning and say, I've been on Agent Hub, I can't get leads. I said, why are you calling me on Monday? Why didn't you do this on Friday? Why didn't you take care of this on Friday so you could already be out there? You're calling me when I'm trying to go recruit an agent, talk to an existing agent, or going out to sell myself. So being organized, knowing what you do. And basically what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is kind of what we have been taught from Scott and Scotty and Benji, you know, through the years of being in this business, what they have kind of led us to do and things that we do on a day-to-day basis and week-to-week basis that makes us, you know, what I feel like is a success. We make a calendar. Scott, he kind of holds our feet to the fire with that. He wants a calendar, what we're going to do for the month. Every month, he says, where's your calendar? Give it to me. But one thing he did teach me, and he wished he never had, you don't ever fill your calendar out in a pen. You always use a pencil. That way you can always erase it and say, I'm sorry, you didn't get the update. I was going to take that day off. You can always change your calendar if you do it in a pencil. So, but have a calendar, give it to somebody who's going to make you accountable. You know, if it's your wife, if it's someone at the office, if it's another agent, if it's somebody, but have something set up that you know what you're going to do that month. That way there's no surprises that come up, okay? Calendars are very, very, very good for that. order your leads on Friday, okay? And lay out your week. Know if you got a recruit that you're going to have in the car, or if you're going to do some additional training with an existing agent, or if you're going to go ride with an agent. Get in the car with that agent and go do that. And know what days you're going to do that on Friday before you ever leave the office. That's one of the things that Scott, Jamie as well hold me accountable to, and Scott holds Jamie and I both accountable to it. Do not leave this office on Friday. Do not shut your week down until you know what you're going to be doing next week. Do not do it. Don't go home, because you go home and there's going to be something going on Friday night. Maybe dinner with your wife. It may be a movie with the kids, or a local football game or something. Then Saturday, then Sunday, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden you're just like everyone else. You wake up on Monday and you have no clue of what you're going to do. So make sure all those things are taken care of and they're laid out in detail on Friday before you ever go. Be organized, be prepared, and be ready to go. Have that plan, stick to it, and don't let anything change it, okay? There's things happen at my house just like it happens at your house. Well, so-and-so's sick. Well, I'm sorry, I've got to go to work. You're going to have to adjust your schedule, and then I'll help out when I get my stuff done. Fortunately for me, I have a wife who's able to do that, but it would be very easy for me to say, okay, well, I'll just put my work week behind another day, fall behind, but just stay on task, stay on course with that. The organization thing, this is something I was talking to Anthony Rose, called him on Friday, and something that he had talked about on the 22nd of September is the bottom line of our business is profits. And that's one thing that I know that every agent in our office, and probably most of your agents as well, they're not very organized, and there's a few tools that we use that we feel like that if you use them on a weekly and a daily basis, it's going to improve your persistency, your commissions. It's going to improve everything about your business. One of the main things that we use is a weekly, and I have several copies here, and this is something that Jamie and I have come up with, but it's a weekly summary sheet, and I've got every one of them from the beginning of the year. If an agent comes to me and they ask me, well, Eric, how did you write $5,000 this week? How did you write $3,000 that week? How did you do this? How did you do that? I can get this out, and I can show them the week I work, the area I work, the total number of A, B, and C leads, the number of production for my goal, 40 leads, 4,000. I'll put all that in there, but the details of it is the number of appointments that I set or my appointment scheduler set, the number of door knocks. That's very important. I record every door knock that I do. I think Jim Mall made a statement that he has an agent with him in Kansas. He said that the agent recorded it that if every door knock he made $50 off of each and every door knock that he made. He may not sell but 1 out of 20, but every one he did, he made $50 every time he got out of the car, walked to the door, and knocked on the door. And also do the number of presentations. Then you also use this and put down the number of A leads and B leads and C leads that were sold that week. And then you total it up, the number of the amount of monthly premium and the annualized premium. So when I have an agent, they come to work with me, what I do, I say, you fill this out, I make it mandatory for the first 12 weeks. If you get them doing it then they're going to probably consistently do it every single week thereafter, because that agent can take this form and they can go out and they can work and they can come back and say, Eric, I had a slow week or I had a slow 2 weeks. We can pull this form out and I can see how many leads they were pulling, A, B's, door knocks, appointments, and all that. So if I got an agent who is getting 20 appointments and making 2 sales, I just find an appointment setter. I got somebody who can set good appointments. But if I got someone who's getting 2 or 3 appointments and making 5 sales, I need to find them an appointment setter and get them more appointments and see what they're doing. If they're not doing door knocks, I can just show them what they're not doing to increase their sales, okay? That's very, very, very important. If you don't have something like this, you're welcome to get it, use it. I promise you it's going to give you a roadmap of what you do each and every week and what your agents are doing each and every single day, okay? The other form is our weekly control form. This is something, again, we've made up in our office. You can use we have an electronic version, or you can use this. I'm old-fashioned. I use paper. I write it down. It has a list of all the carriers, and you can put in the client's name, the monthly premium, annual premium, and when the business is to be paid out. And I take these 2 forms every week, I fill them out, I staple them together. And then what I do with it is I put it into a folder that says sold. And every week I take 30 minutes of my day and I'll go through and I check my commissions. And that's what I want to ask everybody here today. How many of you truly, without hesitation, if I had a computer and turned it on, you could walk up here and you could walk me through checking commissions with all the carriers? How many of you could honestly do it? Okay. So therefore, if you go to work and you write a piece of business, why aren't you checking your commissions to make sure that you're getting paid on that business? Okay. If you went to work at a 40-hour job and you were getting paid by the hour and they paid you for 37 hours, would you recognize that you weren't paid for your total 40? Exactly. So why not check your commissions? Okay. That is something that I'll hold on to in that paid folder, and every single week I'll go through until I can mark off every one of those sales as paid. And if there's one that's lingering, I know to call Foresters, American Amicable, America. And I say, hey, what's going on? Follow it through, get the amendment signed, get it taken care of so I can get paid. Okay? And I tell folks all the time, if you just save one application a month, you're probably going to give yourself anywhere between a $5,000 to a $10,000 a year raise. I don't know about you, but I'll take an extra $5,000 or $10,000 by simply being organized. That's all it is. Use these forms and follow your business. When I get them all taken care of, then I have a paid folder. I just drop it over into there, and I have a record of everything that I've written for the year and every application I've been paid on and all that. So if you need these or want these, I've got plenty of them here. I'll be glad to give them to you. If you have any questions on those or anything else, let us know. Also, one of the things that we are in our office, I'm going to point fingers at myself, we fail to do is call back every NSF email you get saying the payment's been stopped, there's been a return on the payment, clients called to cancel the policy, anything at all any correspondence, call your customer and see what's going on. Check with them and see if it's, you need a reduction of premium, or if we need to try to reinstate for redate, whatever it is, return every single one of them. Because just doing that alone, if you increase your bottom line, say your persistency by 5%, think about the money you made last year and you add 5% to your income, there's an additional raise as well. There's money just sitting out there and we're just letting it go. You've already done the hard part. You've already been to them. You've already talked to them. They already trust in you. They've already bought from you. The only thing you got to do is follow up with the business and make sure what's going on and try to conserve that business. And, the carriers are talking about these trips. Well, that is one of the main things. You can write $100,000 production, but if those persistency numbers aren't where they need to be, you're going to be sitting at the airport waving, bye-bye, see you later. So not only is it money in your pocket today, but it's also a way to reward your spouse as well, to get to carry them somewhere. That little bit of one call, two calls, it may be 2 or 3 applications through the course of a year, that determine whether or not if you get to go on some of these trips or not. So I promise you, it's a tenfold deal if you keep up with it and follow through. How many of you on a weekly basis send out thank you cards? Very many of you do thank you cards. Okay. See a few hands. I know Mr. Hall back there, I saw his hand go up. If I'm not mistaken, Steve, what is your persistency rate with your carriers?
As an agency? 82%, 13 months.
82%. What is yours individually? Or?
About the same. Actually, I bring ours down. Most of our agents are 87, 89.
Hey, honesty, there you go. So most of the agents are 87, 89?
Yeah, we run about a 91% placement, and then we persist about 82% overall.
Okay. But a thank you card. Go to the dollar store. They have them. You can buy 10, I believe, for $1. And while you're watching the football game or watching something on TV or something, just go ahead and fill them out. Sign your name, say thank you, and then whenever you do make the sale at the end of the week, you can just simply write in, the client's name, Mr. and Miss Jones, and sign and send it off. It takes literally, it's going to cost you $5 a week, maybe at the most. Now, Steve Thornton may cost him $10, but me, it cost me $2 or $3. So, but I believe it's a cost-effective thing to do. And one thing that I have yet, to really, I just started doing this, is that every week whenever I get done, I take my phone. Okay, I'm not a tech person. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a tech type person. But I have figured out how I can get that phone, and every time I make a sale, at the end of the week, I go into the calendar and I enter the person's date of birth, the birth date. And so therefore, and I put a reminder of yearly. So therefore, the first day of every month, I just go in there and see who's got a birthday this month. I take the birthday card, write them a little birthday note, throw a business card in there. Who knows? It may be somebody who's thinking, I can't afford that policy. I won't let that go. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll get it somewhere else later down the road. But they may decide, this guy here is staying in contact with me. I'll keep it. Or they may have just let it go. They'll call you. Or hopefully they'll want to get some additional business. Just doing some small things, contacting your agent or your clients, once or twice throughout the year, that's going to increase your persistency. The more times you show your face in that household, and the more times they hear from you, the more likelihood it is that you're going to keep that business on the books for an extended period of time. The one thing that we should all do, and I hope every one of you do this, but I had a situation that happened to me probably it was about a year ago, is return phone calls. Okay, just be very diligent in that. If you have a phone call, return it. If it's to a recruit, if it's to an existing agent, if it's to your wife getting ready to chew you out or whatever it may be, call them back. Go ahead and get it over with. But I had a situation about roughly a year ago. Jamie and I actually were going to Atlanta, and we got to Atlanta, and we stopped to get gas or get something to drink, and I had a voicemail on my phone. And it was a Miss Essie Sims that I had sold about 2 weeks prior over in Edgefield, South Carolina, which is about 2.5 hours from where we live. She called. She said, Mr. Smith, I need you to give me a call. My daughter was here this weekend, and she and I talked about this insurance policy I just recently purchased from you. I need to talk to you about it. So I was like, well, here comes the chargeback. And she's not going to keep it. She's going to cancel it. The daughter's come in the house. She's killed the deal. Probably a lot of agents would just simply hit delete and go on and just knew what she was going to do. Well, I called her back. I said, Miss Essie, this is Eric Smith. May I help you? What's the situation? What's wrong? What can I help you with? What did your daughter say? Why does she not want you to have this policy? She stopped. She was like, why do you think she doesn't want me to have this? I said, why else would you be calling me? So I said, well, tell me, what is it? What happened? What's going on? She said, well, my daughter came by and she said, I didn't need this policy. I said, I told you, you're going to cancel it. She said, no, my daughter said, I don't need $10,000, I need $20,000. How soon can you get back out and get me an additional $10,000 of coverage added to this? And it was a phone call, I guarantee that I have myself taken and a voicemail, and I have probably deleted it because I knew that she was going to cancel the policy. But by returning that call, anticipating the worst, actually the best came out of it. I had a double my sale on that. So make sure you call them back. It doesn't matter if they're upset because you drafted the account early, they've created an NSF charge, or whatever it may be. Return those phone calls each and every single time someone calls you. All those things together, I feel like would definitely increase your persistency numbers, help you keep business on the books. That's stuff that we try to practice and we try to push into our agents each and every day. The main thing that on this being organized is I feel like the organization part of it will help you retain business. And we have to, I'll go ahead and tell you, we have to do a better job of conveying that message to our agents. Because these agents, they're based off of one thing. They're like, let's produce, cover your leads, PPL, PPL, PPL. We have a prime example. We got an agent in our office. He's just notorious for it. He just says, they're going to cancel. Well, why worry with it? Let's just go write another piece of business to try to overcome that. And I try to tell him, if you just conserve one piece of business of those individuals who fall off, that's less work you have to go out and do yourself. So make sure you follow through and you do all those simple everyday things, but you got to have it in order, okay? Once you figure it out yourself, and most of you probably have a system of some kind that you use and you follow, show it to other people. The only reason I know to do these things is not because I came up with them, it's because of like Jamie, Benji, and Scott. I'm very, very, very fortunate. I think myself, I'm thankful every day that I get to go to work with these folks. And that's one thing I tell all these new recruits I bring in. There's never been a time that I can't pick up the phone and call Steve Thornton and say, Steve, hey, how are you doing this? What? And he is an open door. We're sitting in a room with some of the top agents and managers, I believe, in the country. And every one of you in here, I know, would help me out, and I would do the same for you. As you're here this week, talk to each other, talk to people, get their numbers, talk to them, see what they're doing different, see what they may be implementing that you're not doing to help build your business, keep what you have, and go forward. You don't want to every time you take a little step backwards, that's more you got to do on the front end to overcome that. So I just challenge you to do those things. Another thing is accountability and goals. I already know it. I know it's going to happen. Become about January 3rd, January 4th, or January 5th, Mr. Glanton's going to have a meeting with all of us at 8:30 in the morning about our goals for the upcoming year. He does it every single year. He's probably getting ready for it now, I imagine. But he will have an accountability. He'll come to you and say, hey, what is your goal this year? What do you want to do? Personally, group, the whole 9 yards. And believe me, he will hold you accountable to it. Have someone in your circle that you can go to as well and give them your goals and let them be accountable. As Bill Buckley was saying, he has 5 in his circle that keep him accountable. I feel like I've got probably more than that. I'm fortunate in that. We got these 3 gentlemen here. We got the folks at the office and got other managers. I got Keith Reel here and Michael Paulson. We always got people here that are keeping us accountable to do what we're supposed to. But on the accountability side, agents, okay? Have your agents give you a goal that they want to get to each and every year. Let them give you a goal for the year and for a 5-year plan. What do they want? Do they want to be producing individually, or do they want to be where they want to be at in 5 years? And go over that goal with them every quarter. Simply make a phone call or either sit down one-on-one and every quarter revisit those goals that they have and see if they're on track. And if they're not, document some of the things that you see that they're failing at. Well, hey, you said you were working these 3 days and you actually worked 2. Hey, you said you were going to do this, but you actually did that. And that calendar keeps all of us accountable, I promise you. You do those things and have someone hold you accountable, and you also be accountable for others in your group. It's going to make everything run a whole lot smoother. One of the things I heard from Anthony the other day is know your agent's why. Know their why. Why is it that they want to write 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, or build a group of X amount of agents? Know why they want to do that. Is it because they want to take their wife on a trip they've not been able to do? Or do they have a child that's turning 16? They're having to get ready to buy a vehicle. Know what that why is and help them attain that and keep their feet to the fire, and so that therefore they can reach their goals and they'll stick with you. You think about all the time and the labor and the efforts you've put into an agent, and we may fail by keeping them on track, and they venture off and go down another path somewhere else with another organization. So just know their why, keep their feet to it, and push them towards those goals. Know what your close management people are doing each and every week. There's no way. People ask me from time to time, well, how can you manage and look after, Jamie and I, we have about 60 agents who produce a piece of business each and every week. We probably have maybe around 125 to 150 contracted agents, and different ones turning business. There's absolutely no way in this world that Jamie and I by ourselves could keep up with each and every one of those. We have key people that we deal with, such as Benji, Michael, Keith, and we have others in other areas that they know what their agents are doing every single week. I guarantee I could ask Benji today where each of his downline agents are working. He could tell me. If he didn't, he could get me an answer within probably 3 or 4 minutes. Have those people around you work with them closely, and know what's going on in your organization. And one of the things that, and I'm getting ready to go over to Jamie here, is communication. I think we've all heard communication here. One of the things that I don't ever really like to do is call an agent and say, how much did you write? You know, Derek alluded to it earlier today with Benji. Benji always asks him, how's your kids doing? You know, he's never, you know, he is concerned, but it's not always about business. It's always, you know, it's a lot of times it's about family and other things. Your agents, if you're always calling them and saying, how much did you write today? Well, how much have you written for the week? How much have you written for the month? They're going like, that guy wants one thing. He wants production. He cares nothing about me. And if you treat that agent that way, I guarantee he's going to find somewhere else that loves him or them or her and puts their arm around them. They're going to be ready to leave you. It's just like if you walk into a home and the customer senses that you're there for one reason, is to make a sale, to make a commission, it's not going to work out. You may get that check there today, but in 2 days they're going to call the company and cancel. So, you know, communication, be in communication every single week with your agents, with your downline, your management, and everybody that you're associated with. Be in constant communication all the time. That's basically what I have. Jamie, I'm going to let Jamie talk to you for a little while, and I appreciate your attention there.
Thanks, Eric. Our topic today, as you saw on the agenda, was managing agents, developing goals, and organization. And as I sat here this morning, Benji whispered to me, sitting beside me, he said, did you ever think in your mind that you would be sitting here and by your name would be something called organization? And I said, nope, but that's why we have partners, and mine is great because that's what his topic is. And to take that to give an example on that, last Wednesday night I was leaving to go out of town on my wife and I were going out of town for our 11-year wedding anniversary, and I told her, I was like, I got really busy at work today. I feel like I'm being rushed. I said I had something I was going to get done. I did. I said, but Scotty called me and we talked probably 3 or 4 times by lunch trying to get some things hammered out before I left. And just time was a matter of, time just very, very important to get it done in a timely manner. And so I said, I just know I'm forgetting something. So Sunday morning we were out of the country and my mom was keeping my kids, and it hit me. We were on our way home that day and it hit me. I'm like, I knew I forgot something. I forgot all my work clothes, and I'm not going back home. And I said, well, I hate to call my mom and burden her. She's keeping my kids. I'm not going to ask her to do it. And I kept thinking of what my options were, and I was like, well, I can't wear Eric's clothes, and that ain't going to work. And then I thought, well, you know, I could call Scott, and I was like, nah, it ain't worth the beating I'm going to take for that. So it hit me. I said, you know, that darn Drury Inn, they have got them a washing machine. I got these one pair of khaki pants, and we just gonna make the best of it. So this morning when Benji said that about organization, I'm like, yeah, that still isn't me. 14 years later, that just isn't me. But you know what? We talk about humility, so I'll humbly admit that, and I'm good with it. What do agents need to be successful? According to Zig Ziglar, research indicates that workers have 3 primary needs. Number 1, they got to be interested in their work. They got to love what they do. Number 2, they have to be recognized for doing a good job. That's something that's been instilled in us. I give Scott a hard time. He gives me a hard time, and we have fun. But that's the one thing he's really, really good at, is he does give a lot of recognition. Scotty Elliott is equally as good at that as well. Number 3 is being let in on things that are going on in the company. That's another thing that Scott has always done with us, and it goes a long way. It's you appreciate it. You know that somebody trusts you. That's a big thing. We just talked about trust. So if they're going to tell you those kind of things that maybe everybody else doesn't know, then you know that somebody can trust you. And two, that you're important enough to be entitled to that information. But another, to go right along with recognition for doing a good job, another quote by Zig Ziglar is, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. So remember that when you're talking to your agents, that you don't know what kind of day they're having. So patting them on the back, telling them how much you appreciate them, goes a long way. Eric and I believe there are 3 keys to building a team. You got to have a system, you got to have structure, and you got to have communication. If we talk about a system, luckily for all of us in this room, every agent on the One Life team, Kim Parker, Scotty Elliott, and their staff, Scott Glanton, and everyone else, and all the agents that came before us have helped to create a system, and it's the very one we have in place today. My pitch when I'm out in the field hasn't changed from today what it was 14 years ago. It wasn't broke when I got here, and I wasn't going to change it. It's still not broke now. So like Scotty Cole said last night, One Life's evolved over time, but the system has been put in place. The One Life way isn't perfect. Nothing is, but it does run like a well-oiled machine. And as long as you believe in the system with all your heart and soul, you'll be able to manage your team with great success. Now, if you don't believe that, see Kevin McGill in the parking lot. He'll help you get your mind right. And you'll either get good or you'll get gone. Because OLA, honestly, to me, is it's a roll out the red carpet system. Who else gives free leads and all the other complimentary amenities that come along with our program? Amenities like this leadership summit. Who else does that? So folks, don't make excuses. Again, this system is one of red carpet status. Number 2, structure. As adults, we're all similar to children in regards to structure. If it's not laid out clearly and enforced, we have a tendency to get off course during the week. Hence the reason Scott made Eric and I give him a calendar. But it helps. He holds us accountable, and that's part of the job. To keep agents on course, they need a path to follow. And in my mind, there are 5 steps you can take to make this work. Number 1, find out what their financial goal is for the week. What's it take to pay those bills? Once you've got that figured out, the next step is number 2 would be to help them determine the number of leads needed to reach that financial goal. Because we can all break it down to simple math. You got to see so many people to make so many sales, and those number of sales are going to, come out to an average of what you're actually going to bring home. Number 3, help them simplify and establish a daily production goal. And I say daily because it's got to be simple. Number 4, help them establish a daily appointment goal to help attain their daily production goal. You got to know how many people you got to see in order to hit that goal. If you don't have a goal and a set number of people you need to see, it's going to be tough to make the money needed to pay your bills. Number 5, set a goal for the number of door knocks the agent is willing to commit to. All your sales aren't going to come from appointments. If you think that, you're wrong. Notice I didn't include a set number of days here. My reasoning behind this is simple. If you set a financial goal, or if that agent has a financial goal that they need to meet, then the number of days you work shouldn't matter. The only thing that should matter is that you know you need to do whatever it takes to pay your bills and meet your obligations. Communication. The third key is communication. Here at One Life, we often refer to this organization, our organization, as a family-type atmosphere. Just like our spouse and our kids, our agents, your agents, need nurturing. They must be treated as an extension of your family. If you want to attract and retain the best agent, we must provide them with the encouragement, stimulus, and make them feel that they are an integral part of One Life's mission. It was said that you should hire on character, train on skill. You can train skill, but you can't character. Also, be communicating regularly. By communicating regularly, we will be able to identify problems at an early stage, making it easier to resolve issues before they're significant. As I said in the room today, I just, I listened, I pondered, and my mind was racing. I had folks that are not here, that are managers of mine, and Eric and I have folks that we've, seen come and go. Two of them being two of my best friends. So I sat here today and I thought about this because when people leave, you gotta. I think when someone's here and they do a great job and they leave, you can get mad about that if you want, or you can say it's all them, or you can look in the mirror and say, well, what could I have done better? And I think that's what true leaders do, is they try to figure out what could they have done better. So communicating is key. And to tell you how important it is, I thought of 5 agents in the last 18 months that Eric and I have had that have gone to do other things. Some insurance, some not. But of those 5 agents in 18 months, those 5 agents have represented $1.3 million in production. So communicating, that's key. As we communicate with our agents, it shouldn't be about how much production they've written, as Eric alluded to earlier. They need to be able to lean on us for support and encouragement. Digging into their personal life may seem a little over the top, but I think it's necessary in order to truly find out what makes that person tick. It's also important for that person to know that you care, so they stay around. You don't always just interview the agent. Sometimes you might need to interview the agent and his wife, or their husband. In closing, I wanted to share a quote by Lance Cooper. I found it in a book I read entitled "Can They Sell?" by Steve Suggs. This is how Lance, Steve's partner, defines success: doing your best every day for the benefit of others. Doing your best every day for the benefit of others is how he defines success. We should all accept this definition of success into our lives and work hard every day to make a difference in the world around us. I think the most important difference we can make for our agents is guiding them in the occupation where their natural talents and abilities help them do their best every day for the benefit of their clients. Because at the end of the day, this is about the client. You have what it takes, or you wouldn't have received an invite to sit in this room as part of One Life's leadership team. So go do your best for the benefit of others.